Most importantly, we got to take control of the money supply, and that's through gold and silver. That is the only way. And I get hit all the time. If you follow me on Twitter, people follow me all the time. And Bitcoin's the way. Bitcoin is not in the Constitution. It's much easier to get gold and silver done because it is in the Constitution. And yes, important point to remember is all states really truly need to do this if indeed a central bank digital currency is coming down the pike. This will be your option. This will be your lifeboat. Gold and silver, gang. It's what the founding fathers gave us. It's still in the Constitution, and it's still a really good idea. It's, especially gold, for the most part, is kept up with inflation.
According to Deutsche Bank AG analysts, on an inflation-adjusted basis, gold is 20% off the 1980 all-time high. Gold took its time to break above $2,000 an ounce, having had significant tailwinds in recent years. A weaker dollar seems crucial, with the U.S. currency declining 3% as future Fed rate cuts are anticipated. PatrickHolland, the founder of the Missouri Freedom Initiative, advocates for constitutional-aligned control of the money supply through gold and silver while dismissing Bitcoin. Silver will move higher in 2024 because the topping pattern in yields is confirmed. The U.S. dollar did already confirm its inability to move much higher. Both are supportive developments for precious metals. According to Federal Reserve data, M2 money supply, which includes cash, checking deposits, and other highly liquid assets, bottomed out at around $20.7 trillion in April this year, amid aggressive rate hikes. That's a 4% drawdown from the prior all-time record of $21.7 trillion in 2021. Meanwhile, Patrick urges Missouri's adoption of the Constitutional Money Act and emphasizes preparing for CBDCs by embracing gold and silver as alternatives. The Missouri Senate passed legislation that would prompt the state treasurer to hold at least 1% of state funds in gold and silver while eliminating all state income taxes on monetary metals. Regarding specie, Patrick underscores its importance, defining it as encompassing marked gold or silver items suitable for transactions. He also emphasizes Missouri's move to recognize gold and silver as legal tender, aiming to boost their use. A bill introduced in the Missouri Senate for the 2023 legislative session would take essential steps toward treating gold and silver as money instead of commodities. It would set the stage for currency competition in the Show Me State. Now, we present the clips of PatrickHolland's insights from his recent interview with Liberty and Finance. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Most importantly, we got to take control of the money supply. And that's through gold and silver. That is the only way. And I get hit all the time. If you follow me on Twitter, people follow me all the time. And Bitcoin's the way. Bitcoin is not in the Constitution. It's much easier to get gold and silver done because it is in the Constitution. And yes, we broaden the scope a little bit in our bill with the word specie, so we can cover bars. Because if you read Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, it's very specific. It says coinage, gold and silver coinage. We broaden it a little bit, so we throw in the word specie so we can actually cover transactable forms of gold and silver that are literally marked with weight and purity. So that, for instance, we're a fan of the gold backs. We like those. We like gold and silver coins too. And bullion banks like to do ATM cards that are tied to an account with physical gold and silver in them. We like them all. And the free market has already got solutions for all of this. So maybe we should go into that a little bit. I am fighting for Missouri to get this done. Now, and if you want, I can hook you up. But there is Citizens for Sound Money that are really taking up the banner and working with other states to get similar legislation to our Constitutional Money Act done in other states, including Florida. Florida is one of the states, New Hampshire, Texas. I can't remember all the rest of the states they're working in. But they're doing a great job. And like I said, I'll get you some contact information so you can talk with them because they're doing virtually the same thing. But the important point to remember is all states really truly need to do this if indeed a central bank digital currency is coming down the pike. This will be your option. This will be your lifeboat. Gold and silver, gang. It's what the founding fathers gave us. It's still in the Constitution. And it's still a really good idea. It's, especially gold for the most part is kept up with inflation. So we do need that other option. Once again, the word specie is critical here, folks. Some people are not familiar with it, but basically there's, specie basically covers virtually any, let's just say as far as gold and silver goes, anything that's truly marked and is verifiable for weight and purity. So, but if it's marked with weight and purity, generally it's made for transactions. You're not going to find dolomite bars, coming out of, First Majestic, with, stamped on that dolomite bar, like 700 pounds. And then, 80% pure. It's maybe 90% pure, the dolomite bars. So that's not what we're doing here. The fact of the matter is we do have to be kind of specific with this, because if it leaves too much room, too much wiggle room, stuff like that will start happening. And we don't want problems like that. Literally, it's just giving people another option. And it's important to point out that not only does the Missouri bill, but also I've looked at the bill for Florida, by the way, I have seen it. We are not taking away the option to the dollar. The dollar is still there. So this will ride right alongside the dollar as another currency to be able to use. On my socials, I get hit all the time. We already have gold and silver. It's in the Constitution. So we don't need to do this law. This is just another overlapping law. What we're doing is we're asserting our sovereignty in the state of Missouri to be able to use gold and silver as legal tender within our state. Now, when you do legal tender, that does several things. It hits several mechanisms. Number one, the state recognizes it as transactable money. So the state's already there. But the second part that we did in our bill is that we're telling the state that they must take gold and silver for payment of taxes or services if offered by the taxpayer. That mechanism now has actually gone into high gear. When the state is accepting gold and silver for the form of taxes, businesses are much more likely to start transacting in it. And that is really a big one for businesses, because they can pay their taxes in gold and silver at that point. But once again, we're not just talking physical here. Electronic versions of gold and silver are acceptable in our bill, and also in all the other states as well that are going with the Citizens for Sound Money. So that is the most important point. Number one, legal tender. Number two, of course, getting your state to accept gold and silver in the payment of taxes.
During the interview, PatrickHolland also delved into the historical use of gold and silver in the U.S., emphasizing their presence in coins until 1964. Although officially abandoned in the 1970s, many countries maintain gold reserves. The demand for gold reserves is rising due to growing economic uncertainty. Central banks are once again favoring gold as the preferred safe haven asset. Although he emphasizes alternative forms like goldbacks and advocates for private enterprise involvement in displaying gold and silver prices, gold is real money and a long-term store of value. All attempts to replace it are substitutes for real money and are doomed to failure. Credibility for the U.S. dollar was based on its convertibility into gold at a fixed, agreed-upon rate of exchange. Let's get back to the interview.
Let's start with one more thing. And let's just go back to 1913, when the Federal Reserve came out. We had coins in the United States up until 1964 that contained silver. They were 90% silver. So silver was already monetized. It was part of the monetary system. But we had gold coins too. And those were like, roughly 20 bucks. Might have been $20.67 or something like that. But they were essentially 20 bucks. And the coins were easily accepted at stores at the time. But you go back to 1913, I don't think anyone was worried about fake silver and gold coins at the time. We do have that problem today because of, good old China and others that are making some fake coins. So let's start with the easiest one to cover, which is actually carrying coins, which some people may not want to do. So please hang on if that's not what you want to do, because we have solutions for you as well. Coins can easily be verified with a Sigma device or something similar. And so they can be verified for their purity, and a small digital scale can verify weight. So if you have a gold coin, and if you go into the hardware store and you're buying a washer and dryer, basically you give them a gold coin, they can verify the weight and purity. And for the other side of the free market solution, bullion banks already have this done. What they do is they set up a website, and they set up what's called APIs on the website to pull in the average price, including the premium, from multiple online reputable dealers. And then they actually aggregate that price for an average price. That is what the bullion banks do. And that's what any state can do. Any enterprising individual can do that. This is not something we want the state of Missouri to do. We prefer, private enterprise get involved and advertise on that site, because holy mackerel, it'll be worth a lot of money. No matter what state you're in, just think about that for a second. So opportunity, right? That's coins. So using coins, but there's also gold backs. Okay, so that would be kind of on the coinage side. Gold backs are very popular. It's like carrying cash. And once again, it is stamped with weight and purity right on the gold back. So you've got that covered now as well. Specie gang, that's how we get the gold backs, use the word specie. And so you've got coins and cash in a sense now covered with your gold foil. So now we'll move into other transactable versions of gold and silver, and electronic is a big part of that. The bullion banks have this covered as well, gang. They have been doing this for a long time. I'm going to use UPMA as an example, but there's a bunch of them out there. It's not like I'm trying to tell you, which is the best. I'm not. With UPMA, you set up an account, and you can either deposit, if you have a branch in your area, physically bring them silver and gold, put it in your account, and you can spend it because they'll give you an ATM card that has direct access to that gold and silver that works on the MasterCard network. You're now at the grocery store using an ATM card where you can spend your gold and silver. But you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to, because you can literally, if they don't have a branch in your area, and that stands for gold money, whatever, you simply wire actual United States currency to them, and they will transfer it into gold and silver for you. Or they'll just use it, leave it as cash if you want. And once again, you've got that ATM card that's linked directly to that account. You can go ahead and spend it. The same way we do things now, we can do actually, with gold and silver. And I imagine at some point you'll be able to write checks if you want to out of a gold and silver, bullion bank account. So all the options are there. Everything is there. Everything we can do with cash, we can do with gold and silver. The solutions have been sitting in front of us this whole time. You won't hear that from Washington, D.C., though, because I don't know if you knew this, Dunnigan, but apparently gold is a barbarous relic, right? The Eastern central banks tell us different, though.
According to commodity market experts, gold and silver work as hedges against inflation, whereas both precious metals ascend or descend in tandem. Recent economic and political conditions favor gold, evident in record-high prices across currencies, anticipating further increases with expected volatility and periodic pullbacks in the coming decade. What do you think about the role of gold and silver as legal tenders and their potential impact on monetary systems? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.